Hey, it's been a while since I've done one of these voiceover videos, so let me just catch everybody up on where we are at and what's been going on. So I started playing Ashes Creation probably a month before the end of Phase 2. Took about 22 days with static spawns to get full BIS 5, I think it was like 570 something power. And that just took only 22 days, and that's when I played tank. I main tank at that time. It was fun. The PvP at the time was fun. That's the one shot meta, and statics. To be honest, still to this day ruin the game. So moving on past that, after that we did phase 5, 2.5. I ended up going bard, main bard for the whole phase. Fun. It was all right. And during this time, we were with Overlord. There was like I'd say 8 or 9 of us, 10 of us that were in the Overlord group. We were all pretty hardcore at the game, min maxers in every aspect we could. You know, time is money type thing. And we got kicked by the leader Draco Bringer, because we were trying to get everybody else in the guild to pretty much play like us and min max and not waste their time and sightsee and go look at, oh, that's pretty, this is pretty. We just wanted a PvP and actually play the game and be better at the game. And so they kicked 3 or 4 of us out all at once, and then all of everyone else who had a brain IQ over 60 was like, "You kicked our best players for what reason? Because they were trying to make us better." So they ended up all leaving and then coming with us, and we created Vice. So here we are, Phase 3, and we now have Vice. Thunder, we all agreed that Thunder would be the best guild leader. I myself, I am not the best people person. I don't speak well to people who don't like to receive information, people who aren't willing to listen or learn. I really I have short patience trying to teach somebody who's not willing to learn. So uh, that's why it's easier just to make a video and have them watch it. And if they can't replicate what I did in the video, well, they're probably not a fit for the guild. So with that being said, phase 3, how we started and how we have dominated the market and managed to get over 20 of our members, 20 of our core members now are pretty much fully geared. Some of them are over 300 power, 303, 305, etc. And that's without food. So let's go ahead and get into what happened in phase 3. So day 1, phase 3, it's pretty much the same as everyone else that out of strat and plan. You just do the quest, get level 7, 8. From then you just grind. I myself, I became the econ person. Somebody took my name again this phase, so I ended up making a character named Cry. And I got Cry to level 16, and then I walked to Winstead, and I started trading. Okay, now before I did that, I went and stocked up on these rings. Stone Runic Ring. And I had my guild actually help me do this because it took about 3 minutes per ring. So what I did was I had my entire guild bring alts, and they would just keep grabbing this ring, and then they would bring it to me in the anvils. Okay, this is a level 1. Anybody can do this quest. You just pick up the bones, turn them into the guy, grab the ring, and then trade the ring to me. So we did this probably 100 rings. Okay, and you can see here they day 2, 3, 4 they were selling for quite a bit. So I went a little bit further and I gate kept this ring. I made it so nobody else in the entire server could get this ring for the quest, because if you stood there, it's a 2-minute timer, and you could just collect the ring every 2 minutes, preventing anyone else from getting the ring. And then once your bag's full, you could just run it over to your alt, and then you run the rings down at a later time or have somebody else ferry them down for you to the Riverlands to sell them. They did sell in the anvils, but they sold more frequent and for more in the Riverlands because you could just go and get one yourself. So I did this for about 2 to 3 days, nonstop. I reported it. I even showed Steven and Margaret this during the live stream. I said, "Fix this quest." It was the character's name. His name was Fix This Quest. They were running through the anvils. They ran by me. I was standing at the quest, and he actually tried to loot the pile, and I took it from him, showing, on stream that you can prevent anybody from doing this quest and gatekeep the ring, and create your own market. So essentially, I created my own market by preventing anyone else from having this. So supply demand, and we made a lot of gold from this very early. This was week one, so we were at over 100 gold in week one just from selling these rings alone. So the first week of September, I went to Winstead with our lot of gold already. We had a generous amount of gold. Most of that gold went out to crafters and procuring materials. You can see here, Shekels ended up making on September 21st. So, like 3 weeks into the server, we ended up making a channel so people didn't have to continuously keep spamming me in game to get the prices. They could just come into our Discord and see what the prices that day were. And what we would do is we would just update all the prices every day, at just in the morning, and people would log in and see our prices. Now you can see this was last changed on the 21st, so this is the prices I was paying on the 21st. But obviously, the first week of September, let's give you an idea here. Heroic Zinc, first week of September, people were selling it to me for 3 silver. Okay, Epic I was getting for 8. Lego I was getting for like 8, 10. So also the other thing is you have to remember the first week of September up until recently, you had the indicator that told you if it was rarity or not. So it was much easier to get high rarity materials at that time. So people were dumping them really quickly. A big thing we were able to procure early was like basalt, right? Lego basalt we were buying. I think I paid 5 silver each Lego basalt at the time, and people were selling me 300 Lego basalt at a time. So we would pay 10 gold and get a ridiculous amount of just gamble, and we would gamble it and level ourselves, and it was just, gambling should be reduced. Let's just put it that way. They should remove the XP you get from gambling. I leveled from 16 all the way to 25 just gambling tier 1 materials. And that also gave us a lot of Lego copper. They gave us a lot of like just Legos in general, Lego zinc, etc., etc. So gambling, I'm not too fond of it. Another big thing I was buying early on, week one from September, was the Ashwood and Oakwoods. I was paying, rare at the time. I was getting 3 rare for silver, etc. We were robbing people left and right, and they were happy with it because I was giving them instant gold, and they were giving me the materials. They didn't have to wait. They didn't have to, go to the market. And what's even better about this is every time someone came to trade me, no matter what material it was, as long as it was on our list, if we needed it, we would buy it, no matter how much you brought. So people loved that. So a lot of people came to us and unloaded their materials to us. And one day, I think it was like a few weeks into the phase, I was like, let's see what we got. This isn't everyone's. This is only a couple of our banker storages and crafter storages. But yeah, we had acquired a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. I don't think WAP ended up posting his in this channel. I think we just did that privately. I can't remember actually. But yeah, just on the 18th, we had acquired quite a bit of stuff. And I think around this time we were finishing, if not still making steel bloom jewelry. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is around the time they pulled the ladder out from the gear dropping, right? On steel bloom. I think they made it so steel bloom gear didn't drop anymore. And that, that affected the market greatly. But let me tell you what I noticed over the month of September. So the first week, second week, it was pretty much our market. We owned the market. We set the prices for everything. Majority of the server, it felt like, was selling to us. We had more than abundant of all materials. We had, and it's a massive amount of materials because of the ring hustle we did early on the first few days. Excuse me. So we acquired all this legitimately. We didn't swipe and bully our way into the market. But what I did notice about 3 weeks into the server, maybe a little bit more, a bunch of other people that hadn't been selling things. Like I'm talking about, they weren't selling Winstead capes, they weren't selling steel bloom drops, they weren't selling XYZ, right? Like I watch trade chat, I watch global chat, I watch shout chat, I watch pretty much all chats 16 hours, no life a day, if not more, for several weeks, right? The entire month of September, I no life the game in econ. And I watched and I knew who was selling items, who was buying items, etc. And I knew who was legit and who was swiping. It's very obvious when somebody you've never seen before is magically paying 75 silver for Lego materials or like even 50 silver. 2-3 weeks ago, 50 silver per material when you need 70 plus, even more. Let's just say 70 to start, a very small amount, relatively. But if you're paying 50 silver each and you need 70 of them, you guys can do the math. Like, very few people can legitimately afford that from what I saw. Very few people. But yet you have like 20 plus people paying these prices. Now, there were a couple of animal husbanders I knew who made a lot of money doing that. There were XYZ people that I talked to who legitimately made their money doing their trades and markets. And that was a market I wasn't a part of myself. But they at least showed their work. Whereas these other people I'm talking about, a great handful of people, had no work to show. They couldn't even tell me how they got the gold, because we know how they got it. They swiped for it. And what was happening is them paying an absurd amount for, let's say, Lego Oak, Lego Ash, right? Like I'm over here paying near nothing pennies, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh hey, 50 silver, let's crank it up 75 silver, right? And then the gamble. Remember I was saying we're getting a ton from gamble, right? So like they took gamble from like 5 to 8 silver for Lego, and they bumped it all the way up to minimum 20 silver, and some people were paying 65, 75 silver for one Lego Granite Basalt. And I had never seen these people make any trades or anything. And like, they could be alts, sure, but there was just an excessive amount of them. And when watching all the markets, watching all the chats, and this includes a lot of the RMT sites. I watched RMT prices all the time, because RMT prices, when they drop, guess what? People get an influx of gold, and then prices go up a little bit, or they go down. It depends on how much people swipe, right? And but what I hate is people swiping into the market and buying in the market. So what that does is they're like, let me give you an example, right? So zinc. We took zinc and drove heroic zinc up when we were selling our rings, when we were doing steel bloom rings a couple weeks ago. We took heroic zinc and intentionally drove the price up to 20 silver each. That way, it pushed out majority of other players from that market, and we controlled the market and still made profit because we had already acquired an abundant, massive amount of zinc prior to pushing the price up to where we felt comfortable enough to maintain buying it and keep the price there while making gold. So that's like, you call that like a staple of the market, right? So like, because you need this material to make the item, you control the price of that material to where it's unobtainable for anyone else to make a profit on making that item. You know what I mean? And we had already acquired so much of it that was fine. But what swipers have been doing recently is they're swiping like Braidwood Lego past like 12 gold, Willow past like 10 gold, and it's because RMT prices is like 20 cents for 1 gold, for example, right? That's just an example. That's what the price was like, I don't know, a week or so ago. I went fishing this past weekend and I haven't looked at anything on the game. I logged in and saw the prices of everything, and I was like, damn, dude, RMTs. So here's a trade Thunder did, I think, like over the weekend when I was fishing, right? Like 700 gold for Epic Rosarium. Yeah, this could be somebody's alt. I don't know. Right? You think that's legit? What do y'all think? Let me know. And then here's 2 more screenshots he posted last night. This is what he has on that character from selling that armor. and then he sold some other stuff. And it's like, you guys think that gold's legit? I don't. I don't think this person got this gold legitimately. 100%. I don't think they got it at all. And now, ugh, it's so obnoxious from having to literally no life econ since the first week of September all the way up till last week until we finished our gear, our weapons, all Lego, etc. And it was a literal job competing with RMT. And it's worse so now. Like RMT is so rampant now. I feel so bad for all the casuals and people who don't swipe. Like I feel so bad for you. Like look at let me just show you this again. Yeah, I'll show you another trade. Hold on, let me find it. So I think I did this one. I want to say like 2 weeks ago or so. As soon as the bench came up, this was like a third, maybe a second day sale after the bench came up. I cannot actually remember the date. But anyways, I got full asking price. Didn't even have to negotiate. He was just said, "Okay, Dunzo, 335 gold for this trade." And Milky, I don't, no idea who this guy is. Never seen him buy anything, sell anything. I looked up his store name. Didn't have anything on there. But these are just examples of just you know I'm just curious to how these people got their gold because I know how we got our gold, right? You guys can say that gatekeeping a quest ring is exploiting all you want, but hey, I told Steven, I showed Margaret and Steven live on stream, hey, look at this quest. I can literally pick up the item needed to complete the quest before you do, and you can't complete the quest unless you beat me to the item. So they didn't fix it, so I guess it's not an exploit, and there's just a lot of bad things. I think there should have been a hard wipe when they removed gear drops. I 100% agree. Week 2, 2, 3, or whatever it was when they pulled gear out from Steel Bloom and everywhere else, should have been a hard wipe. And that's for me saying that when I had hundreds of gold already. We were way ahead of everyone in econ at that time, and we wanted a wipe because they removed the gear drops like that. That to us really hurt the game. They should have wiped it then. And then just all the other things that happened after that. But it was too late at that point. Once they let 3-4 weeks pass, it was just too late. The indicator for rarity bug, finally, thank God they fixed that. Finally. Now people are saying there's an overlay. If you keep saying there's an overlay without any proof of an overlay, like, please shut up. Stop. Unless you can prove it or see it on the stream, screenshot it, show us proof. Definitive proof. Stop just spewing garbage, please. RMT is a real thing, and it's super easy to see somebody that either did crates, caravans, XYZ, traded on the market. If they earned the gold or just somebody walked up to them and just gave them hundreds of gold for zero reason, right? Like this is a clear, obvious trade. But when I put in 2 rations and you gave me 500 gold, there's something wrong there. That's blatant RMT, right? So I don't know. RMT is too rampant. Is Steven selling the gold himself? Is that why there's no subscriptions? I mean, I'm not going to hate on him if he is. He could be the top seller of gold and just intentionally be selling it at the lowest point value to be driving all the other RMTers out of his game, which is a good tactic. I mean, I do a lot of marketing, and the way to control markets is to be the top seller and have the highest volume. And guess what? If it's your game and you can just spawn the gold in, well, you don't really have a competitor. So he could be doing that, and then in 3 months he bans all the other sellers once he figures them out, etc. I don't know. They really haven't said much about it, and it's annoying to see the RMTers, like 100% guaranteed RMTers, walking around the game, full like Lego sets, etc., and nothing's being done about it. Nothing at all. It's annoying. So basically, I just wanted to give my feedback on what I've seen. My perspective as only been doing really just econ up until the past week and the entirety of phase 3, and just really call out the RMTers and ask straight up what the devs plan on doing or what they are doing, if they are actively doing anything at all to prevent RMT. Because I have seen nothing to the fact that they are removing the gold from the RMTers, the items, etc. Like I literally see no evidence to any action towards RMT currently. And for me, I'm glad to be done with our gear. I'm glad we're done making it. I'm glad that we decided, you know, this is the goal. We achieved the goal. We did really well at it. The last week or so, week and a half, was pretty bumpy because of the RMTers and the prices they were making materials, but we did manage to pull through, and now we are just focused hard PvP, and I'm pretty excited to start just only PvPing and never standing on a mailbox till the next phase, maybe, question mark.